Welcome to Crawford's Locks Week 2 NFL. Going to give you two straight up money line winners, two cover winners, and we're going to be looking forward to doing this every week. After I run out a few weeks, we'll see how we go. But for now, I'll give you some of these freebies. So without any further ado, this week the Jaguars are going to upset the Chiefs. Look for the Chiefs to start the season 0-2. There's going to be some struggles in that secondary. If they can't put pressure onto Trevor Lawrence, Zay Jones, Chris Kirk, and Calvin Ridley are going to run wild back there. I would expect with Etienne and it's just going to be too much. Bigsby, Jacksonville is a real deal, and Jacksonville, I do think, will beat Kansas City 31-24. When Kansas City goes down to Florida in that heat, anybody who goes down there, ask Bill Belichick when he goes down to Miami. When you get down there and you get into that heat and you get into that humidity, and you haven't been accustomed to it. These guys have been warming up and doing all of their workouts down there to start the year, so they're used to that heat and humidity. I do think Jacksonville wins 31-24, and you will get that game at plus 149 on the money line. Our second money line game, I think, is going to be the Ravens over the Bengals. Ravens over the Bengals. Tough division game. Cincinnati went down. I love the way that this division starts right off the bat with Cleveland against Cincinnati, and then coming right back with Cincinnati against Baltimore. Call it what it is. So Cincinnati starts 0-2. I do think that Cincinnati will win the wild card. I do think that Cincinnati will heat up, and I do think Cincinnati will get it together. Just they're not going to be able to win this one against Baltimore. I think Baltimore is going to come in and now throw the ball around a little bit more. And I do think that Lamar is going to be a little bit too much. So Baltimore 24, Cincinnati 17. You get that game at plus 143, and you can stamp that. That's a Crawford lock. As we get into our two covers that are locked, very interesting. As I looked at the game this week, the one that stood out to me to most was Indianapolis. So the Colts taking on Houston. They Houston and the Colts played last week against my two outright winners this week, Jacksonville and Baltimore. So um, I think both those teams hung in there till about the mid third quarter, and then both were beat by better talent. Going into this game, you have the Colts favored by one. I do think that it will be a close game until the end of the fourth quarter. Um, I think the Colts will be a little too much. I think that Pittman is just going to be a little bit better athlete than who Houston has out there on the outside. Pierce is a great running back, so I do anticipate this game to not be the highest scoring game, but I would say that the score is going to be somewhere around 20-17 in favor of Indianapolis. Indianapolis will win the game by a field goal at least. So going into our last cover is going to be the LA Rams at home +8. Take the Rams, take the points going against the 49ers. Stafford threw the ball all over the place. He looked pretty good last week. You look at the two head coaches, Sean McVay versus Shanahan. They're both great head coaches. I think the biggest difference is the interior and the defense for the Rams. You're looking at these teams that have been in the Super Bowl recently, and it's because their defense. And let me tell you, the Rams defense is healthy. They're going to get after Purdy. They are going to shut down McCaffrey to a degree. I would anticipate that 152 that McCaffrey had last week in yardage, probably going to be somewhere around like 74 in that range this week. Also, too, I don't see Ayuk, even though I love Ayuk and I have him on my fantasy. I don't see him repeating his 129. I just don't think Purdy's going to have enough time. I think a couple turnovers from Brock Purdy, um, perfect Purdy. I think he's going to be imperfect this week. So 8 points, it's too much for the Rams at home. This game is going to be closer than that, something like 24-20. Rams win. 27-24. Rams win. So those are my two covers. So you got the Rams summary, Rams +8. You have the Colts -1 guaranteed covers, and then straight up underdog winners. Jaguars are going to beat the Chiefs. Chiefs go 0-2. Take the Jags down in South Florida, and the Bengals will crumble at home against Baltimore. Baltimore will be too much, and they'll win that game outright. So we'll check in Crawford's locks on Monday. When you guys are 4-0, then I will expect you guys to subscribe to the channel because we're not going to be playing around this year. You're going to follow me. You're going to make a lot of money. Crawford's locks, baby.